G'day guys. A few people were wanting to see how the new dArkOS-RE compares with the standard build of dArkOS. And while I am expecting performance to be pretty much identical between the two, today we will be doing a side-by-side comparison with two original Panel 4 R36Ss. We will be using 64GB Samsung Evo microSD cards for both devices to keep it fair. And both SD cards were purchased at the same time from a local electronics store, so they should hopefully be from the same batch. The black R36S on the left will be running a fresh install of the latest version of dArkOS. If we press start, you can see it is 02/01/2026. On the right, we will be running the latest version of the new dArkOS-RE, which again, if we press start, go down to the very bottom, is version 02/06/2026, which should also be built using the same base dArkOS image as the one on the left. We have also installed the new dArkOS-RE update on the device itself, just to make sure it's the absolute latest version. Finally, we have copied the exact same test ROMs over to both SD cards. And I'm using the dArkOS-RE DTBs on both devices, just in case that makes a difference, so everything should be as fair as possible. I think we'll start by testing cold boot times. So I'll shut down both devices. I'm just using an online stopwatch, which does have a countdown starter feature. So we'll start the countdown, and once the timer hits 0, I'll power on both devices. There we go. Looks like they're pretty much in sync at the moment. Got dArkOS-RE on the right, slightly ahead. And yeah, pause it there. dArkOS-RE started very slightly faster than dArkOS, but that may have just been because I pressed the power buttons very slightly apart. We'll shut down both devices and try it once more. We'll reset our stopwatch. Start the countdown once again, and this time I'll try to start at the exact same time. Go. I'm pretty confident I pressed it at the exact same time that time. I will also get ready to press pause when they both power on. And yeah, this time the original dArkOS booted very slightly earlier than dArkOS-RE. I would say they both take the exact same time to boot. No differences whatsoever. We'll reset our stopwatch once more, and this time I think we'll see how long it takes to load a smaller game. Something like NES. So we'll go down to NES. We've just got Mega Man 2 here to test. The exact same ROM on both devices. I'll start the countdown timer, and as soon as it hits 0, press A. That seemed pretty much the same. Perfect. Pause the timer. So both games did launch at pretty much the exact same time. We'll try it again just to make sure. Reset the stopwatch. The stopwatch is just here so you can see how long it takes to load these games. It's not really needed, it's just something I thought I would include. So start the countdown timer. And A. I think I pressed them at the same time again, and they loaded at the exact same time. We might try the exact same test, but with a harder to run system. So we'll go back, might go down to PSP. I'll reset the stopwatch. We'll start the countdown, and we'll try Mega Man powered up for the PSP. It looks like dArkOS-RE slightly beat the original dArkOS that time, but it was pretty much the same. We'll quit out and try it again. So reset the stopwatch. Start the countdown timer. 1, go. I think I pressed them at the exact same time. And yeah, I would say pretty much the same. So far, cold boot times and game loading times are pretty much identical, although we were expecting that. We'll quit out of this one. I think next we'll compare in-game performance. We'll start with an easier to run one again. We'll just go Mega Man 2 on the NES. We don't care about the stopwatch anymore, so I'll get rid of that. We'll load up Mega Man 2. I will turn the sound down on both. We don't want it blaring in the background. Perfect. We'll bring up the RetroArch menu. We want to go back to the main menu, go down to settings, user interface, on-screen notifications, notification visibility, and we'll toggle display frame rate on. We'll do the same with dArkOS-RE. So settings, user interface, on-screen notifications, visibility, and on. So far, they're pretty much identical. Very close to it. We'll close out of the RetroArch menu. We'll go into an actual level. You can see so far it's basically exactly the same. We'll go Bubble Man. So stock NES performance is basically identical, but I do want to try fast forward performance. I did focus down on the screen, so hopefully that's a little bit easier to see. We'll enable fast forward on both of them. In dArkOS, it should be select and L3. And in dArkOS-RE, I believe it's select and right on the D-pad. And once again, pretty much identical performance. No real surprises here. We'll close out of NES and we'll try a different core just in case there is a difference. So we'll go back. I think we'll go down to Game Boy Color. Something people fast forward a lot would be Pokemon Crystal. We'll go to the title screen. We'll enable FPS on here as well. So on the main title screen, basically identical performance once again. We'll toggle fast forward. And I would say pretty much identical once more. It does fluctuate quite a bit, but they do seem to be pretty much the same. Yeah, no real surprises here either. Close out of this one. We will try the exact same test in Game Boy Advance just to make sure. This time with Pokemon Fire Red. We do have to enable the FPS counter. Perfect, we'll go to the main menu. Or the title screen, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty much bang on 60. We will toggle fast forward. And both seem to be hovering around 85. So far, performance has been absolutely identical with every test that we've tried. I do still want to try a harder to run game, so I'll quit out of this one. We'll go back. This time we'll try PSP with Mega Man powered up. So we'll load into it. We will have to go to PPSS-PP settings. It's FN in dArkOS, and it's also FN in dArkOS-RE. Settings, graphics, go all the way down the bottom, and we want to toggle show FPS counter. Perfect, we'll do the same in dArkOS. There it is there, FPS counter. Now we should be able to close out of PPSS-PP, or the menu, or the settings. I've noticed that B is mapped to the OK button in PPSS-PP settings on dArkOS, but it's A in dArkOS-RE. Also, on the left you can see we're locked to 60 frames a second, but on the right we're locked to 30. This is the exact same ROM on both. Very strange. Oh, here we go. dArkOS-RE does occasionally go up to 60, but it usually hovers around 30. Very, very strange. We'll go into an actual level though. We'll skip all the cutscene. So we're in the game, and yeah, sure enough, dArkOS-RE is locked to 30 frames a second. I'm assuming it's a PPSS-PP setting. We might bring up the PPSS-PP settings menu once more, and we'll compare the settings on both. So again, it's B on dArkOS and A on dArkOS-RE. We do want to stick with graphics, I think. So in dArkOS, the backend is locked to OpenGL, but in dArkOS-RE, it is still locked to OpenGL, but it does let us bring up the toggle menu. The resolution is locked in dArkOS-RE, but it's not in dArkOS. So we can change it in dArkOS, but not in dArkOS-RE. Very interesting. What else is different? They're both on full screen, VSync's disabled. We'll check the display layout and effects. They're both the same. Replace textures is enabled in both. Frame skipping is off. I think that's what's causing it. I keep getting the buttons mixed around. It is really confusing. So we'll go back to frame skip and we'll turn it off. Now if we close out of the PPSS-PP settings, go back into the game. There we go. We're both at 60. So it was just frame skip enabled by default. Since PSP is a lot harder to run on the R36S in general, I wouldn't say that that's a bad change at all. I'll try move around a bit, but it is going to be a bit difficult playing two games at once. You can see we did have the exact same lag spike on both devices. That is just how this game runs. So apart from the main PPSS-PP settings button mapping being reversed, at least between these two devices, and frame skip being enabled by default in dArkOS-RE, it otherwise seems to be pretty much identical as well. We'll close out of this one. Interestingly, dArkOS-RE did give us a little save warning pop-up saying we haven't saved for a few minutes. Are we sure we want to exit? I'll go to yes. I do like that feature. That is pretty cool. I'm assuming it is just an option we can toggle on in dArkOS as well, but I honestly did not know that existed. So it seems the new dArkOS-RE performs pretty much identical to the standard dArkOS. Before we wrap it up though, there were a few things I wanted to test on the new dArkOS-RE that I did forget to try in my previous video. So the first thing I wanted to try is the headphone socket in the new dArkOS-RE. Somebody was asking if it works, and I do regret not trying it in my previous video. I do usually try the headphone socket, especially on clones, since that is a pretty common issue. We'll load up Mega Man 2 again, just so we can get some sound. Go to the title screen. Perfect. And I'll just connect my cheap headphones. And yep, sure enough, the music is coming through the headphones now and not the built-in speaker. I'll unplug them just to make sure it toggles back. And it did. Perfect. I do want to try this same headphone test using the unofficial ArkOS for clones K36 DTBs on my K36 clone variant. I'll quickly swap out the two DTBs using this exact same SD card. I won't do another fresh install, and we'll come back with our K36 clone variant. Alright, we're back with our K36 clone variant now. Again, the exact same SD card, just change the DTBs over like we did before. We'll go back into Mega Man 2, go to the main title screen. So there is sound. I'll go grab my headphones once more. Exact same headphones, and we'll plug it in. And yep, once again, the music is coming out of the headphones now and not the built-in speaker. I'll unplug it just to make sure it does go back to the built-in speaker. And it does. Headphones seem to work on both of my devices, using both the officially supported DTBs and the unofficial ArkOS for clones ones. So in my last video, someone did ask if it's possible to change the transparency of the smaller window when using the picture-in-picture feature in the new Nintendo DS emulator. So we'll load up Mario Kart DS once more. We'll bring up the main joystick menu, go down to screen config, go down to display layout. We'll go to, I think it was display 1. Yep, it was. So transparent alpha value. We'll change that up to, I guess 7's the highest. And I'll save for this game. Go back. We do have to press R2 once to enable the screen. And sure enough, the little screen at the top right is fairly transparent. 7 does seem a little bit too high. We'll go into an actual race though. So I don't know if you can see it, there's a very faint overlay of the second window at the top right. Now this should be good since the little window should be our map. I do have to swap screens over. Perfect. So it is transparent, but it's a little bit too transparent. We'll bring up the drastic menu once more. Screen config, display layout. We'll change it to maybe 4. Should be about halfway. Have to remember to save. We'll go back. It's a lot better now. We might try it at 2. I do just want to see what the optimal transparency would be. Obviously, it does depend on the game you're playing. So I think we'll go 2. We'll save. 2's not bad, but you can't really see through it that much. You definitely can see through it though. We'll try 3 just for completion. Saving it once more. I think 3's the sweet spot, at least for Mario Kart. You can definitely see through it, but you can still make out the minimap. A very, very cool feature indeed. I absolutely love this new NDS emulator, specifically for this picture-in-picture feature. Definitely game-changing. The last thing I want to test is changing the theme. Somebody did mention on my previous dArkOS-RE video that they did not like this default theme, and they preferred the older stock ArkOS and dArkOS theme instead. So I think it is worth trying to change it. We should be able to use Theme Master for this, so if we press start, go down to options, tools, I'll connect my cheap little USB wireless adapter. We'll go down to Wi-Fi, and I'll connect to my access point. So it didn't find it. Looks like my wireless adapter wasn't detected this time. Try plug it in again. There we go. I think my cheap USB-C to USB-A adapter is a little bit faulty. So we'll connect to container. So it's connected. We'll quit out of Wi-Fi. We'll go back to tools at the top and Theme Master. I've never actually tried Theme Master before, so I'm not too sure what to expect. It is downloading a few things. I guess that's why it needed internet access. We'll let it do its thing and come back. So it's been about 30 seconds now. It looks like it's almost there. All right, looks like it's finished loading. We have to select our screen size. We want 640 by 480. We'll go browse gallery. I thought I did choose the screen size. Oh, you gotta press B on it. Fair enough. So highlight the correct screen size and press B. So 640 by 480, press A. We want verified. Oh wow, there's a bunch of themes. We might try Alec Full Solo ArkOS. This is by Alias UX, who is the main developer behind the R36S builds of ArkOS. So we'll toggle that, pressing B, and then press A. It's downloading it, shouldn't take too long. We're still downloading, we've just gone over 31 meg. It's a fairly big theme. So it's finished downloading and installing. It did take around 3 or 4 minutes, it was quite big. Unfortunately, I didn't catch the total size. I did glance over just as it was finishing and I just missed it. So we'll go back, so we'll go down to exit. And now we should just have to apply our new theme. So press start, go UI settings, and here's our new one, Alec Full Solo ArkOS. And if we go back, it should apply it. There we go. This one does come with background music, it seems. So it is super easy to change the theme on this if you don't like the stock dArkOS-RE theme. We might go back into the theme menu. So UI, theme. I guess we'll quickly check out the other default themes that are available out of the box. So we've got free play here. Nice and clean one, very minimal. This one's ES theme minimal ArkOS. Again, another nice, clean, minimal one. We've got Nestbox. This is the default ArkOS and dArkOS theme, if you're wondering. So you don't actually need to download any new themes. You can just swap to this stock theme as soon as you're finished installing dArkOS-RE. We've got Replica, another very nice and clean one. Very minimalistic. You've got RetroOS, obviously, which is the default dArkOS-RE theme. And finally, there's Switch. And that doesn't look too bad either. We might change back to the classic ArkOS theme though, which was Nestbox. So overall, the new dArkOS-RE performance is exactly identical to the standard build of dArkOS. I didn't notice any performance changes, either good or bad. It was just exactly the same. The headphone socket does work correctly on both my original Panel 4 devices and also my K36 clone variant using the ArkOS for Clones DTBs. I'm guessing some clone devices will have a faulty headphone socket when using the ArkOS for Clones DTBs, so your mileage may vary. I'm glad we tested the new Nintendo DS emulator once more, just to see if you can make the smaller screen transparent when using picture-in-picture mode. And obviously that did work as well. Finally, if you don't like the new stock RetroOS theme that dArkOS-RE comes with, you can just change it back to the old ArkOS and dArkOS theme, which is called NES Box. But I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.